Are the Iron Warriors cool? Well, Perturabo's most optimistic son here, and I'm here to lay down the facts. I'd like to give a quick shout out to the Iron Warriors. I'm about to finish. I'm on the second to last chapter of A Storm of Iron, and let me just tell you, I have grossly misunderstood and really placed them at the bottom of the tier list, the hierarchy of all my favorite Chaos Legions, because the Iron Warriors are pretty cool. And you know what? I enjoy them. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to put it on YouTube and tell everybody who watches this video that I, a World Eater fan, enjoy Purdy's sons. I think they're cool dudes. Listen, I think, real talk, I think they're cool. And I really kind of let meme culture lore really fuck me up and just make me randomly assume stuff when I haven't actually read the stuff. So now reading Storm of Iron, I'm being almost done with it. I'm like, yo, these dudes are cool. Like, legitimately cool. And here's the thing that I would like to share about them that I don't think anyone's really talked about so far. They could have, but, you know, since I'm talking about it, it's now the first ever Warhammer video on YouTube to ever talk about that subject. You know how it is, but the way they operate as, well, maybe the warband specifically that Hansu's in right now is really unique in the fact that of how they treat chaos, right? So if we were to go to, you know, a Black Legion book, or more specifically a Wordbearer book, like the Wordbearer Omnibus that I'm still reading as well, most of them tend to treat chaos in completely different ways, but there's always an overlapping theme of, like, chaos is a tool and we're going to use it, right? And that's obviously pretty much explicit to every legion, right? It's not just a thing that's limited to the Iron Warriors or to the Thousand Sons or to the Word Bearers. It's not. But seeing them interact with chaos and hearing them talk about chaos is really interesting because they do it in a really leveled way where Hansu's like, yeah, my boy 4X is like 1 second away from succumbing to Khorne. That really, you know, it's just a matter of life, and it's a matter of fact. They don't, like, revere chaos in the traditional sense that would be some other war bands. They don't necessarily shit on chaos like I kind of thought they would. They kind of just have this really strategic approach. Yeah, chaos is really good when it's for you and can really screw you up when it's against you. So we're going to leverage it the best way we can. We're going to send the guys who obviously fell to Khorne to be meat shields to the front. And if we have sorcerers from Tzeentch, we're going to use that. And, you know, they really do emphasize that chaos is a tool. And I know I've gone on here and I've said that chaos is not a tool and chaos uses you. That is true, but the Iron Warriors have the most level-headed approach. You know, they're not word bearers where they let chaos willingly use them. They're like, please Khorne, please. Not like that. It's more like, all right, obviously I'm pretty good at killing people, so guess what? Khorne's gonna favor me. We're going to use that strategically and put me in a squad with other Khornate Berserkers, and anyone who's strategic is probably Tzeentch aligned, and we're going to work that out to take over this planet. It's cool, man. They go about stuff in a level-headed way that is really reminiscent of, let's say, like a loyalist perspective or anything like that. They're just cool, man. I just can't get over the fact that Hansu's such a Chad, too. Because, listen, there have been times where I've looked at the Iron Warriors and I'm like, oh my... And after reading excerpts of Perturabo where everyone clearly kind of does... Listen, he's been done really shittily in the lore. I don't know if shittily is a word, but we're going to use it in this context. I understand that the guy was given some lackluster jobs and nobody appreciated him, so it's really easy to hate on him because he's a little man baby. I'm sorry, he's a little bitch. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not saying he doesn't have valid reasons to not be a loser, because he obviously kind of does. You know, Daddy didn't love him and didn't, you know, appreciate him because he's his smart little boy. But, you know, that aside of Perturabo and his sons kind of being losers, they kind of really hit the balance of, like, here's the meter, right? So you're like loser, just okay, Giga Chad. So they kind of always really do good at, like, leveling out the, like, cool versus, like, the loser. Like, Hansu's a good example of this. When one of his battle brothers was kind of talking to him like, yo, half-breed, real talk, you are favored by the, I think, what are they called? The Warp Smith, I think. If I get that wrong, someone let me know. The Warsmith. And he's like, no, I'm not. He's like, fool, why do you think he's letting you lead one of the most important squads, you idiot? And he's like, Hansu takes that in for a minute and is like kind of happy that he's being recognized, but then he immediately goes back to being cynical. He's like, you must have some ulterior motives as to why you're doing this. And the dude's like, holy shit, Hansu, you are stupider than I thought you were. I'm trying to be nice, which is, funnily enough, super uncharacteristic of a son of Perturabo. But that aside, I just, there's really good bits and pieces here that I otherwise probably would not have found out if I didn't start reading the books. So, let's give a quick shout out to the Iron Warriors, but let's also give a shout out to books, right? I know I don't look like the typical guy who would be saying that, but let's give a quick shout out to literature. I would not be as interested in any of this stuff if I actually just didn't start reading, right? It's because of that I now appreciate the Iron Warriors, and they're definitely moving up in all the factions that I really enjoy. They are kind of breaching my top 5. I'm being completely honest here. And I'm happy I read it. I'm happy I gave it a choice, because it's so much better than kind of relying on other YouTubers or Reddit or all this new friggin' trend or whatever, where every time I'm on, doom scrolling on Reels, I get like 7 different Warhammer shorts, which, usually I don't care about, because listen, I consume content mindlessly all the time. But it's a problem when it's just AI schlop. I don't like it when it's an AI voice reading to me saying, from the Lexicanum, no doubt. And listen, the Lexicanum's a great way to get info, but it's not a great thing when I have like Joe Schmo who's like just reading out the Lexicanum word for word, like, did you know that in M41.81, Hansu stepped on a mine and got blown up, but this in turn led to the Octarius War? No, it's bullshit and I don't like it. Reading, however, I do like, and what I'm just trying to say is I'm happy I read this. I'm happy I got put on to the Iron Warriors. I think they're super cool. I think you think they're super cool. Please go read A Storm of Iron, or at least get like a friggin' 50-page trial and see if you like it or whatever. Or, find other ways to obtain the copy. I don't know. I'm a captain, but you know what I mean, guys. Just go and enjoy this stuff. And, a quick shout out again to Iron Warriors. I think they're awesome. I think you guys would really enjoy them. And, I misjudged them. I truly misjudged the Iron Warriors. Even though I know the Homunculaba and all that stuff, but that's not really what I'm talking about, because that's a good example of how chaos is inherently evil and awful. These guys are evil and awful, but when they're painted in a picture, when you're reading A Storm of Iron, they're the bad guys, and you're not necessarily rooting for them, but you're appreciating the characters. You're like, yeah, this is entertaining, this is fun, and I'm still not rooting for them because it's painfully obvious they're not good people at all. So, shout out Iron Warriors, shout out Perturabo, and shout out Angron's Calmest Son. I will see you all later.